Ola is going to be in focus. The Consumer Protection Authority has issued a show cause notice to Ola Electric following a wave of over 10,000 complaints received in the National Consumer Helpline. Prakash Diwan is with us on the program right now. We'll also have, one more analyst join us in just a bit. Prakash, good to have you with us here. Thanks very much for your time. Just your sort of perspective on this entire matter, and where do we go from here for Ola shareholders?
Good morning, Prashant. So I think it's finally judgment day of sorts. There have been lots of things in the making, in the pipeline, in terms of the whole disconcerted noises that you saw related to performance of this product. And there is always a challenge when a company that's not into vehicle manufacture gets into it, and very boldly. So they did a lot of things right in the beginning to launch themselves, but product quality, customer experience, redressal, these are things that need much more sustained, effort at putting systems in place. Remember, Ola is a very vertically integrated kind of a business model. They want to sell scooters, they want to make batteries, they want to make cells, so go backwards. They really don't have their own, they've set up their own distribution. They don't have dealerships the conventional way. So it's a B2C kind of a model. And that always is fraught with the absence of the dealership, which is like a sounding board, starts sensing what's happening in terms of performance, gives feedback to the business owners. That has been missing. So somewhere this was bound to catch up. It's good it's happened in the early stage of the company's listed career, at least. They could do some course correction and move on, but this is going to have some sort of an impact. Because remember, Prashant, the complaints, CCPA taking cognizance means there have been complaints, and complaints is a symptom. It's not something which will solve things. So the sales will get impacted eventually is what I meant. And that could probably be very, very disheartening for the business.
Social media, etc., a little bit in terms of the complaints, right? There seems to be just, there are maybe others as well. One is, of course, if you don't use the battery for an extended period of time, it kind of discharges. So then you need a replacement. There is, of course, things like, monsoons, rains were on in many parts of the country, so some damage there. Wires being, a lot of it is essentially replenishing and supply chain on the back end, parts, etc., not being available. But these can be fixed eventually, with a concerted push, concerted effort, right? So is this as you said, is this a phase? And of course, they'll have to respond to it. But just a quick word.
No, absolutely. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the back end. As I said, they boldly started off a model which is different from what the rest of the business houses have been doing. So they'll have to tweak and adapt to the real-life situation of meeting with customer expectation. And all of that would take time, which means if you bought Ola because it was number one in terms of electric two-wheelers, probably they might have to lose that position to somebody else for some time till they kind of get their act together. So it's all a question of course correction, which can take some time, and which means stock would also take some time to take a breather in terms of performance.
Okay, so I guess that is the issue. Now, till this resolves, and I think the company has 15 days, Prakash, to respond, and we don't know what are the further measures. Right now, there are no penal measures that the authorities have announced. But in terms of just sheer share price impact, what could we be potentially looking at as this resolves? And what would the advice be to investors who got in during the IPO height and perhaps bought at the peak?
Surabhi, good morning. So I don't know really what I can advise people who have bought it at higher levels, because naturally I think they bought it with the optimism and expectation of things looking up, the company building on its strength and market share advantage and all. But they'll have to, of course, consult their advisors to see how it fits into their overall portfolio in terms of ability to book losses and all that. But as I said, when I was answering Prashant's question on what does it take in terms of remediation, it's like a pharma company getting a EIR, and which takes time, right? So it's something like that. So they'll respond. They'll have to do some work at the back end. But the biggest damage to this is customer confidence and hence sales. So if you really ask me, the stock closer to the issue price which was well priced from where it used to be at the time of the IPO, is where it will go back to, is my sense. It's quite close to that, to be honest. I don't know how it's opening up today, but all that froth that came in because of higher expectation and low liquidity, that is probably what's corrected. So it's gone back to fundamentals, and fundamentals do indicate that the offer price is probably was a fair level at which you could have bought.
Just very quickly, 30 seconds left on the conversation. Very clearly, this overhang is going to continue on Ola for a while, and we'll see how they resolve it. In the meantime, if anyone's looking to take exposure to the whole EV theme, right, and we've seen how the incumbents have really marched ahead with very significant market share gains as well. Between TVS Motors and Bajaj Auto, what would be your pick?
So, you know, if I had to weigh in only on the EV theme, it would have to be TVS, because the product is far more superior, well accepted, has already gone through the first few phases of acceptance. Bajaj is still kind of, you know, trying to get the Chetak franchise accepted. And I think their focus will shift to the CNG bikes at some point in time to kind of, you know, be the flag bearer of this, you know, of green fuel kind of a vertical. So my sense is TVS is what will probably keep innovating. Of course, it's a premium segment that it caters to, very similar to Ather. But that's a segment that will take, you know, much more cognizance of any improvement in product features and pay for it. So I would stick to that. But at this point in time, should be both the two-wheeler names have other issues related to their parent, to their core businesses, which still are, you know, a bit of a doubt. So I would believe if you had to buy something on the basis of EV at some point in time, TVS would score a bit more. But whether I would buy it at this point in time or not is a bit of a doubt.
Got it. Prakash, thanks very much. Helpful conversation this morning. Have a good day. We look forward to connecting again soon.